So this church provided a base for us, a place of healing, but also a place where, once again, my hopes and dreams in God, in the church, were restored. You know, there are many people who have lost hope in the church. There are many people who have given up just because of the things that they have been through in whatever churches they have been in. But for me, coming here and having been here, my hopes and my dreams concerning what church will be, again, were restored and renewed. And so this morning, I want us to just come and share our stories. All of us, I said, are going to preach. I don't want to preach. So each of us will just come and share his story. Your story is part of our story, and what the Lord has done in your life, and particularly through Abundant Life Community Church. But the Lord being at work in your life. So I want to invite us. And I want Eric to come. You know, many of you people don't know this testimony. That's why the Spirit of God just stirred me as I saw Andrew here this morning. Many of us, or maybe I've forgotten, you know, we pray and we pressed it at that time, and God did his miracle and we move on in life. And we forget. But I just want you to share that testimony, because for me it is a testimony. In fact, it's interesting. That day we were just talking, and Eric was telling me that Andy's Eric and Eric's son, that he has now come out of all his medication, you know, and then he was just sharing with me some things that to me were wow. You know, sometimes we just see him around and we're thinking, oh, okay. But just sharing that was, for me, again, a testament of what God has done. So just share with us. And any other story you want to share. And then each of us will be sharing our story this morning.
Good morning, church. Pastor Barnabas, did you say the Spirit stirred you? Yeah, I felt the same thing. So I usually tell God, if you want me to speak, just let me know. So I had him pray. Thank God for Andy. And I'm like, wow. It's good to see you all. I have a story to share. I'll say a very powerful testimony. So I guess half of this church might not know the story very well right now. Yeah, but in 2018, you know my son Andy, right? You all know him, eh? The boy who looks like Uziel right now.
Sorry, I've just realized I have a bad cold and I'm giving people the mic.
Oh, so thank you. So 2018, 2017 December, Andy had gone for a sleepover at our friend's place. If you remember, in Ndungwe Nyambura, so Andy and Shama are very good friends. So on December 4th, as they were swinging, Andy gets hit by a swing. And you've seen him with a scar here, right? So the swing tore his scalp like this, and the flap. It opened up. This is a flap. If you shake your head like this is the scalp, yeah. So the scalp. Thank you, doctor. Flap. The scalp. I wasn't there, but they rushed him to hospital, and then he was stitched in Tigoni because that's where they live. Then we brought him to Aga Khan, and then they had to do proper constructive surgery, I would call it. And they scanned him. It was okay, no scratch, nothing. Then February, this is December, he started healing nicely. We thank God for the miracle that he is alive, is well. And he was not afraid of needles until that time. I mean, you go to hospital like, he's not the kind of boy you'll scare him. Like, he'll just dunga. He was fine, but after that he was scared of needles. But anyway, so 2018 now, this scar is the scar healed around February, end of February, and one day we were having breakfast. No, the evening before I noticed Andy was struggling to put a thread through some beads. And I thought, this is, kids, as they're growing, they need to, what do you call these skills? No, there's motto, there's another word. And they usually in these younger schools, like in pre-kindergarten and stuff, they try to develop those motor skills. But there was another word for it. So I thought that's it. But when I called Kayla could do it. So I was like, but he can hardly hold a bead. So the next day in the breakfast, he could not hold, we were having cake and tea. He could not hold cake in his hand. And he would put it and drop, like he told Daddy, I can't hold. Like, oh. Immediately I called my sister Nkata, Emily. She was here in August, for those who met her. She was a doctor at Aga Khan that time. And when I explained, I went and called Martha. I told her, hey, I think something's off here. Then I called my sister and she said, rush him to hospital. So rushed him to hospital. We thought that accident had affected him. Did all manner of scans, nothing. Then by the next day, he was dragging his leg and his hand could hardly use it completely. And that night he had serious convulsions. And from that time, he continued having series of convulsions during the day and at night, and the doctors could not diagnose it. We stayed there. I want to shorten the story so I can tell their story. By, I think, the 6th day thereabouts, Kendi, I'm not so good at details, you can remind me, we were in HDU. We stayed there 16 days. I think the last 4 days were in ICU, and the doctors weren't sure what's going on. So we had already reached South Africa's doctors, sent them the reports, and they weren't sure what it was. And they told us, I think you need to budget for about 2.5 million, but when they had it was in HDU, they said budget for 5 million. And then when you went, by the time I was going to ICU, my sister had contacted a local adult neurologist who recommended, because in Kenya there are 3 pediatric neurologists at that time, only 3. So the adult neurologist recommended a doctor, another adult neurologist they went to study with in the UK, who said, this guy is very good. Yet that adult neurologist in Kenya is the best. He said, I know this guy. At that time, people were praying. I had lost weight within a week. Martha had been put on drip at some point because she wasn't drinking water, she wasn't eating. Walking through convulsions with your child is a very difficult thing. You can imagine convulsions, like serious convulsions. You forget yourself. So we flew him to India. And what do you call it? The AMREF to charter the plane will have cost us between 7 to 9 million thereabout, I think. Kendi was at the price around 7 to 9 million. So, but KQ Kumbe had a package where they can put on like 6 or 9 seats and convert it like ICU, put all the machine and stuff, and that's how we traveled. Ambulance to JKIA to India. By that time, the guys in India had said, we think we know what it is, so start him on a certain medicine. So we got there. By the time I came out of them, I followed the ambulance from India in Mumbai. I followed the ambulance, and by the time I was removing the bags, I found a team of 7 doctors, and the adult neurologist is kind of coaching the others and asking them, what do you think it is? After explaining, I came and explained, because now nilikuwa nimekuwa kama daktari. I mean, I knew the medicines, I knew everything that I could explain. I didn't need a report, because from morning to evening there's nothing else you are doing. Do you know you can do a PhD within two months? Yeah, I knew everything. And I explained, and they said, they will ask questions, and I'll explain back, and they said, we know what it is. The disease was called, it's an autoimmune disease. I didn't know about autoimmune diseases until then. Autoimmune encephalitis, and now the category is, because there are many autoimmune diseases, NMDAR. I don't remember what that stands for now, but R I remember stands for receptor. So there's a part of the brain that was being fought by the antibodies. Imagine your antibodies fighting against you. So they were fighting that part of brain, and it affected his sight, his speech, his hearing, his this part could not function properly. Became like a baby. He would scream. Look like he had gone crazy. But until 2007, they used to categorize it in the area of schizophrenia, but it wasn't. So they started a series of treatment there. What we thought would be 3 weeks turned out to be 7.5 weeks in India. So he improved. After 3 weeks, we left the ICU and went to the ward. And we guys were praying. The testimony around this was, for some reason, there are so many people who got to know the story. I forgot to tell you, when you are flying to the plane, even the pilots and the air hostess were looking for us, saying it was a big story then. In fact, some thought we were going to South Africa, so there are people who changed their flight to South Africa so they can help us. People we don't know, I've never met them again. So, since when the day my sister and my good friend Duncan and the rest formed the WhatsApp group, that night by morning the WhatsApp group was full, and then we had opened a second one to support. So then all these groups, what was happening is people were praying, sending testimonies, encouragements. It was one big church. You remember? One big church. So I think the greatest part of this thing is, I remember experiencing that God will heal Andy. And so whenever I'll share, guys were like, how are you able to find such strength and faith? What I remember is, I'll go to pray. There are times I'll go to pray and I'll experience the prayers of the people supernaturally. So I'll experience the prayers. If you watch the testimony of James Kalwaya, how many have watched the testimony of James Kalwaya, the Ugandan guy? How many? You've watched it, eh? When he explains about Apostle, what is his name? John? No, there's that pastor, John something. John, I forget it. When he was in the Satanist kingdom, they will say that this apostle will pray, but he's being lifted by the prayers of other saints, and he will speak a word and it will resonate in the whole spiritual kingdom. You remember that part? Yeah. Now, I was experiencing that then. So I could identify with what he was talking. I'll experience the prayers. It was like gold, a golden bowls pouring into me, and then I would be able to pray. Yeah. It was so amazing. I didn't have the strength. I mean, if you're going through such what people do is even you forget to pray. But every time I'll go on my knees, I will find strength to pray. And the strength was not mine. It was the people who were praying. Yeah? That's why I told you, even LCC, it is you guys. That sometimes I come here, the anointing experience, I'm like, God, this is not from my closet. This is the people here. You identify David, eh? I felt like to refer to you. It's not from my closet. It is the people who are praying. And that's what Barnabas needs. People praying, and the prayers will lift him up. Then a friend of mine had a dream. And this dream, he described at Thanksgiving. We had not discussed with anyone, and I knew Andy was going to go home healed. So in the midst of it, he regresses. He had started walking, saying a few words, he regresses. So the doctors tell us, you need to go back, give it about 8 months to a year. So he had kind of reduced it. Yeah, so he was not conversing as such, but he had something called dystonia. So the convulsions are there, but it's like they titrate the medicine to just stabilize it. So they are there. So he would act up, he will scream, he will scratch, he will bite. Where? You have to be careful. You have to be sensitive enough not to bite. In fact, when we were flying back, when the episode came, he gripped my sister-in-law's neck, and he wasn't letting go. Ameuma. Kwa ndege. There's another hostess alikuwa tu analia and akiona, can I help you? For us, we had gotten used to it. Not in a good way, but yeah. And when we came back, a miracle started happening. So that's why I shared before here, there's something called progressive healing. And I'd watched a lot of videos online of people Christians speaking about progressive healing. What was supposed to be 8 months, in 5 weeks, he was fully restored, fully. There was an adult neurologist who had come from the UK, the fourth one now at that time, where I'd gone and seen her, and when I explained about the symptoms, because I was like, this boy is improving so fast, now he's walking, now he's going to the washroom by himself. It's like, that's a quite remarkable fast improvement. They just told us, call me after 2 weeks, and after that, come back after a month. When I went back, she just said 5 out of 5. We had already planned the Thanksgiving in advance, even though we had been given 8 months. By the time we were doing the Thanksgiving, it was just a few days after the doctor had given us a clean medical, it's called clean what? Bill of health, and said, this boy is 100% okay. The only thing you need to do, this medicine needs to be tapered because you can't stop all of a sudden, it will affect him. That was it. Totally healed. So even the doctors in India who have such good experience were like, whenever we will do the video calls, like, whenever we send them the videos on WhatsApp, they're like, can you share with us videos of him currently, not before he got sick? And we'll tell them, no, this is now. They're like, no, now? They're like, now. Yes. So we did a video call once, and they're like, wow. So they even, later on, they would ask, if they lost the videos, they'll collect as a case study. But I want to believe that when they do their case study, that one will be an exceptional case study. Like, this one is not the same as these other ones. Yeah? There's something here that happened that is supernatural, that is God, and it's not man. So I want to say, for some reason, God wanted me to share this story. It's for someone here that God is able. I have no doubt. That's the season that ushered me into, the previous church at Little School on a floor. You find me on the floor kneeling, not because of the story, but because, I kneel easily. I would live and lie prostrate, and Andy will follow. The previous church, Andy will always kneel down with me and I'm praying, worshiping. He got used to that now, because that was my lifestyle. It still is. But what led me to that is, I think the experiences that leave you totally unashamed, totally, like David, where he danced until his clothes fell off. David in the Bible. That's what that experience did for me. When you come face to face with God, you don't care about what other people think at all. You don't care. So I just want to encourage you and say, not even to encourage you, to share that story and say, we have a mighty God, a God who heals. And I'm trusting Him for more miracles in this church, and more testimonies, and more face-to-face encounter, intimate relationships like David preached here with Him. May that bless you.
Thank you so much, Eric. Yeah, I know many of us see Andy here, and we don't realize how far we have come, and just what a miracle, a testimony that he is. I want to just give others a chance to come and share. I don't know about you. Sometimes I wonder, why are these people still here? What when you came, what kept you here, and what has kept you here? What are some of the things that the Lord has done in your life and is doing in your life that just keeps you loving this church and wanting to be here? What are some of those things that God is doing in your life? Consists of the veterans have sat behind there, Mary and Jane. These are veterans. They're called veterans. They have the history of this church more than some of us. Anybody wants to share? Just your story. And Jerry, I'm seeing as if you want to share something. Anybody? I volunteer you. Okay, thank you, David. And we need to be, it doesn't have to be a big story, yes. And then we need to be gender sensitive. So after David, I want a lady to come and share. just use this mic here.
God is good. And all the time. You know, there's some things we say, do we mean it? No, it's amazing just to hear that testimony. It's amazing that the song running through my head, to see what the Lord has done. And He's going to do exceedingly abundantly above what we can ask or imagine. So I remember some years ago, I was still in the house with my young ones and just trying to figure out where to go to church. Then I'd heard there was a church at Logos, So to them, let's go. And so we went, and it was amazing. After that, we were like, Dad, that's where we'll be going to church. It's not you requested. And that's how we joined the LCC. And it was nice, peaceful. I think I'd just come from a place where the churches had so many people, and here you are, few guys, you can bond. Kwanza the one after the service, the chai one. And just realizing that actually we are supposed to be the body, we're supposed to be a family. We can come and be. And for me, it's been an amazing journey of just that, I can sit at the back, listen, worship God, spend time, listen to the word. And now just seeing the growth that now even have the teens class. And we started off, and now the teens, the numbers are growing. It's amazing at times sitting, and here I am teaching my 2 teenagers, and we're about to become 3. But seeing the growth in these young ones and just seeing the work with God is amazing. Sunday school, profound. And I remember even back in the days before the teens became teens, even when we were young, and they would come home, with their drawings and all that. And just think, children just memorizing Bible verses, remembering what they have learned. For me, it was profound because I had watched many years they have gone to Sunday schools. But now here you can see they can remember what they learned. And it says in that for me was very profound. And for me, I'm so grateful for LCC, for the community it is. And yes, we've gone through a season as a church. The remainder I was having when I was seated there is like, you know what? If you look at the calendar, 300 days of the year have passed. Yeah? We have 66 days to the end of the year. But when you look back, see what the Lord has done. We are here, we are well, we are alive. We are still going on as a church. And as individuals, we are alive and well. I mean, we have health. Yeah? And God has kept us this far. And the assurance I have, allow me to read this scripture. Sorry. Oh no. Sorry about that. I'll read, it's Ephesians 3:20, but I'll read from a different version. It says, never doubt God's mighty power to work in you and to accomplish all this. Everything He has spoken about you and about this church, He will achieve infinitely more than your greatest request, your most unbelievable dream, and exceed your wildest imagination. He will do them all, for His miraculous power constantly energizes you. So even as we keep walking this journey, let's know that He is with us. Every day He will give us the strength to continue. And I can't wait to next year that we can give even more amazing testimonies of His goodness and His faithfulness. God bless you greatly.
Yeah, one more and then we move on. I don't want to close anybody. Okay, good. Come, Candy.
Actually, Kim told me, go and say something. So I said, that I guess that is God trying to tell me, go and say something. So I've been in this church, I can't remember the year we started. It's because of Gitosh. So Gitosh told us, come to our church. Yeah, we call him Gitosh. Come to our church and see. So I came. These kids were small. I came. We were here with Twyla, the Brickmans, and I was like, this was such a nice, intimate church. People are very close. It's like a family. And I really liked it. We stayed. Even when we moved to Lagos, we were still attending. Then at some point, we went to a different church because also the distance. I don't stay near. So we went to a different church, but I was never comfortable. And something in my spirit just said, let me go and visit. There's a day he invited me. I came. And I was like, I really missed this church. And I think I came once, and another time I came, I visited. I was like, let me go back to this church, because I just felt at home. So for me, it has actually, coming back has been very, very important for me. If I look at when I came to the church before and where I am now, spiritually I've really grown. The church has really helped me in a lot of ways. I think it's just the stage, like you say, the seasons you're in, the stages, even in life. My kids are now teenagers. I have started looking at life differently. And there's a day now we went with Gitosh somewhere, and he started telling me about that Pastor Kawalia. The guy is called Mulinde, I think. Mulinde. So he told me, go and watch that video. Somewhere in September. So I went and watched that video. I was in awe. I called him. I was driving from work on a Monday, because the time we were with him, it was on a Sunday, after we come from church. So I called him. I'm like, where? That video. So my brother is just laughing. He's just enjoying the story. Yeah. So I'm like, hey, that thing is an eye-opener. As I continued watching that, it's a 3-hour long thing. So with juggling work and also home, I was watching it in bits. I watched it, and something in me changed. I think that was my turning point. I was a lukewarm Christian. I was a lukewarm Christian. But God saved me. I never thought I'll be so interested in this book like I am right now. It's different. It's so different. God has turned it around for me. Sorry. And I've been more prayerful. I felt the hand of God moving a lot in my life. And of course, throughout those years, He's done a lot for my family. I mean, Kim there made me very proud last year when he passed his exams, even Ethan. And I said, this is God. But now working on me is a biggest miracle. Just to get to know Him deeper, getting to understand Him more, has been the greatest gift. And I have to thank this church. So as the person you see here, like I said, was a lukewarm Christian. We come to church, sit there, do normal worship, praise, pray, and go home. But when I read the Bible and I listened to this pastor, he told us, and God also spoke through, and he said, I only want a small portion of your time in a day. Give me that time. And I started giving him that time. And let me tell you, the kind of peace I have and the joy. I wake up in the morning, I am so happy to just be alive. I know the kind of also spiritual warfare going out there. And I can't afford to be a lukewarm Christian. I can't. And I urge the church as well. By there, I pray for you. I wake up weird hours of the night. I think it's God who wakes me up. At times I'll have a dream and wake up. And I'll take my Bible, I go downstairs, I read a scripture. I'll either read a scripture or listen to a word, and I'll start praying. And I pray for this church. The last time I prayed for you people, I prayed for good health. I prayed for prosperity because He was leading me there. Prosperity, good health, financial breakthrough, success in your careers. I prayed for the children that they will have life in abundance, that their life will not be cut short by the devil, that the evil one will not, come in to cause confusion and make you, seek God less. I pray that you all seek God more and more in your lives. I also prayed for our country. I pray for anything. I just find myself praying for anything that comes to my heart. And that has really strengthened me. That has really made me, He's molding me. He's making even those crooked ways straight for me. He's ordering my steps. He's protecting me. And I just thank God. And I pray for all of you that, you may get to that point where you create that intimacy with God. Create that intimacy with God. It's so important. So important. And one of the nights, He gave me a word in Galatians. I've put a pencil somewhere here. One was for the church. You, my brothers and sisters, were called to be free, but do not use. This is Galatians 13, up to 14. You, my brothers and sisters. Galatians 5, 13 to 14. You, my brothers and sisters, were called to be free, but do not use your freedom to indulge the flesh. Rather, serve one another humbly in love. For the entire law is fulfilled in keeping this one command: love your neighbor as yourself. Then He also gave me from verse 16 to 18. So I say, live by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh. For the flesh desires what is contrary to the Spirit, and the Spirit what is contrary to the flesh. They are always in constant conflict with each other, so that you are not to do whatever you want. But if you're led by the Spirit, you are not under the law. So I always pray for you guys that you may start now living that life in spirit. If you're not doing so, give your life to Jesus if you haven't done so, because there's nothing as sweet as being in His presence. There's nothing as sweet as praising Him and worshiping Him. I look forward to those weird nights. In the middle of the night, you just wake up. Actually look forward to them. And I just go and pray. As in, I don't feel lazy, I don't feel sleepy. And even if I feel sleepy, I just stand up and try to, make the sleep go away. I enjoy them. So, and I never used to, it was never part of my life. So I've made it part of my life. And I pray that all of you get to that point where it's part of your life if you're not doing it. Okay, so that is my testimony.
Maybe let me just say, I remember sharing with Barnabas at one point saying, if there's one blessing as I've received, when God says He will save you in the household, it started with my small sister. She didn't attend here, but wherever she was, she just picked up. She's picked up, and then seeing my sister also follow is really an amazing thing. Yes, I remember I used to come to church. I remember Pastor Mark I was telling Pastor Mark, my sisters are not saved. He says, but I talked to them and told me they are born again. So I was like, I was wrong about that, so I celebrate. Yeah. But the difference is you can be a born again Christian but lukewarm. You see. So I want to encourage you, if you're trusting someone for a member, just live the Christian life. I never really preached to them, get saved. No, I'll just share my life. True? Yeah, and then I don't know. I just shared that video, and that changed everything. I think it started in Mombasa. I was sharing my experiences, my spiritual experiences, and then after that, I shared the video with her. So it was the last day there, I think. So I just want to share that because sometimes you're wondering, God, when will you save my family member? When will you transform them? Yeah, God has done it. And thank God for LCC.
Amen. One more person, I'm being told. Thank you so much, Kendi. You know, Clement, just becoming. If for anything else but that, we thank God. That God, in the midst of this, I don't know if you guys heard the testimony of the pastor who was here last week. One of the things I love about this church is that it's authentic. We don't have to shout and scream and do abracadabra, but God is at move. God is moving in the midst of people's lives. And just hearing that testimony, and I can attest of that. I have seen Kendi, and I know. You know, I don't know how many of you, we have prayers on Wednesdays, and so that time she was there and she's praying, and I'm thinking, wow, yeah, that's growth. And for me, that's why we are here. We are here to grow together, to see us come to the saving knowledge of Christ, but also to grow in that. John 10:10 says, I have come that they may have life and have it more abundantly. That's what Abundant Life Community Church is all about, that we may enjoy this life abundantly, like Kendi is enjoying it.
Hi, church. I rarely share about personal life. I don't remember the last time I did that, and I don't know what has pushed me here. I really feel a very heavy heart in me, but my testimony is family based. I really thank LCC for what has really kept. We are musicians, that's my background, and most of us do a rotation as musicians. When things are hard, let me just be honest. When things are hard as musicians, there are better offers outside there, so we live. But one thing that has really kept me in LCC and made me align my values as a Christian and remain in this church is the sense of family. And why sense of family? I really envy Akina Josh and Abby, Akina Andy, when they get to come to church with their fathers. I feel like that's one of my callings as a man. I really envy that every Sunday when I see them coming with their fathers bringing them to church. Let me just be honest. My heart really melts because of that. And why I'm saying that, it's 2000, okay. In the year 2000, a very important person in my life left. We were brought up by our single mother. And she passed on when I was very young. I think I was 6 years then. I didn't understand what life was then. And my mother passed on then. We were just three of us, three boys. And I think that moment shattered our world, because she left us orphans in quotes. Totally in a place that we don't know anyone. We were in Taveta. My family is in Kilifi, partly my other family is in Taita. But she left us in a place where we were strangers. We didn't know anyone. We don't know what cousins are. We don't know what family literally is. And that's where my journey of family starts. So my entire life, I think for the last I'd say 27, I'm 30 now, so 27, 26 years, I think I lived a family-less life. Literally, we've gone through a very heavy and dark journey as the three of us who are three boys. And all along, my dad was there. It's just that we were never reconnected. Our mother never reconnected us to our father. And last year, Sasa, literally, I was left off. I was orphaned when my father died. Having not really connected with him or known him. I want to reconcile things with him and all, but I think I never had that dad moment with him in a deeper sense. So coming to LCC was a very big transition for me, especially at a place of me now starting a family. I feel I found very fresh grounds in LCC. For the last, one important thing that I connect family with is home. Family gives you a home where, you know, if things are bad outside there, especially as a kijana, you know, you always have a place where you can come back. Hata kama ulikosana na wazazi, it doesn't matter. I know there's a place I'll always come back and find a home. I think for me that has been the worst challenge for me and my brothers, because life has had a way of forcing us to start a home. Because literally, if I had not started a home, literally I have nowhere to go. You see, that's where life really brought us, as the three of us. So we were forced to come at a place where you have no excuses for circumstances. You can't point at it because of this circumstance. I know I have no home. Maybe the streets are I'm glad that God never took us to a place where the streets was the last option to go and find a home. And I really feel for children who end up in the street. You know, we look at them every day, maybe in town, and we don't want to associate with them because of the kind of life they're living. But maybe the only solution to that, or maybe the only predicament they found themselves in, was the fact that they didn't have anywhere to go to. Maybe they were abandoned for one way or another. Maybe they lost all the parents and all that. And the final journey for them was, I think, the streets will be my home. And I think that has really shaped my life and how I've lived my life. The fact that I know today if things crumble, I can't connect family and home. I don't know where to go back to. That has been the three of us. I'm the last born in our family. So our firstborn, our secondborn, and me, the lastborn. And my testimony in LCC is the fact that it awakened the sense of family in me. And I know as a man, especially now being a man, I sometimes the three of us are like, we are kind of thankful that none of us was born a lady. We don't know how if we had a sister, how she'd handle the aspect of her, not knowing that, you know, I am not trying to be misogynistic in a way, but we don't know. We are usually puzzled on how, if we had a sister, how would we handle her life as the three men. We know sisi tutajaribu by all means and still find ways. We don't know and all that. God will lead us in ways to see how we'll handle our sister and all that. But we are grateful that as men, we've faced the hardest of lives as the three of brothers. Trust you me, I don't want to share. I don't get emotional in trying to share my life, but we've really faced the worst of lives because we never had a place to call a home. So in us lacking a home, we've had different circumstances outside there. But I'm thankful to God that in me acknowledging the moment before I came to LCC, I didn't want to start a family, because starting a family, I wouldn't imagine my child growing up not having a father, not having a home, and maybe how he'll be forced to actually wade through life and find themselves. By the time you're finding your identity, maybe school has been a challenge. By the time you find you don't even have time to actually find your identity and all. Long story short, coming to LCC has really helped me seeing fathers celebrate their sons, seeing fathers walk with their sons and daughters in church and all that. It's really given me the confidence that actually this thing is possible. I can actually raise my boy with an intentional heart, being there for them and all that. Being there for them, for me, first is the home that I can give him, even before the physical home. Walking with them, praying with them, being their friend. God has given me God has taken the excuse out of the fact that, we are, especially our generation, we are giving ourselves the excuse that, this boy is like this because maybe he didn't have a father. or he didn't have a mother and all that. I think God has really worked on my heart that he's enough for me. I don't have to, I know maybe my other brothers and sisters who have the privilege of actually growing in a home with a father and a mother, maybe they were given a stepping stone. But God has loved on me so much that I don't have to stay back in that excuse, in that moment, that the fact that I didn't have this is my excuse not to actually bring my child right and my family right. So I really, generally for the parents in LCC and most of the fathers in LCC, thank you for the image that you are. You never know that, you don't know the kind of influence you have on other people up until it is said. So for me, just know that you're my mirror. And I'm really grateful for the reflection, the kind of life you're leading, and reflecting it to me. There are moments I have with Mr. David. There are times maybe I don't have it all figured out, and I share with him, and he makes it look so easy, and I'm like, this was not the mountain that I thought it was, and all. So my testimony would be on my gratefulness to the church for the family foundation it has, and it's really my book. So just know that I am reading this life through the lenses of the families that I see here, and my prayer is that God will continue forming me to be the father that my family needs. So that's my testimony. Thank you.
Yeah, I think some of you need to, one of these days, sit down with Clement and hear his testimony. Clement is a miracle. He's a serious testimony. And it's very interesting that they started their family here. I think that's the only wedding I've done on a Sunday after the service. It's one of those weddings I'll never forget. And we were all there for them. And so thank you, Vio and Clement, faithful I told you guys, you guys don't know, Vio sings in Iko Gingine, but she has chosen to stay here with us and be here with us. She used to be part of the Parklands Baptist worship team. And when we were struggling, I thought that they will be the first people to tell me bye-bye and go back to where where it looks like it's happening. But Violet and Clement have remained here and have been such a blessing to us in leading the worship team and even seeing them start their family. The Bible says God puts the lonely into families. And that's really Clement's, Mochenye's testimony, that God has put the lonely into a family. Allow me to end there. So you see, today we have had 4 messages, powerful messages. Jane. Okay, come, Jane. So just tell Emily can be setting the tea. Don't worry, we can continue. Today we are just going to fellowship and enjoy. We are celebrating, so this one can go longer than normal. Yeah, I have a cold. That's why I'm giving people a different mic.
Thank you, Pastor. Don't go far, because I'm not a person of many words. I wanted to see how it feels standing here.
Yes.
And I can see. So good morning, church.
Good morning.
Yeah, I was thinking, do I go, do I not? Then I've said, let me just go. For me, LCC started on 23rd of October,
Yes.
which is my birthday. Na Pastor ukasahau birthday yangu for this. Yeah, so I remember that day very well, where we were seated, and I also thank God for this far that He has brought us. I think what I just wanted to say is that LCC, the word community, within that word LCC, means a lot to me, because in this church I found people that I connect with, and people that I can talk to and gain very deep insights into things that maybe I'm thinking about or I'm struggling about. I've also found friends that we can sit down and just have fun and laugh and enjoy the moments that we are sharing. So for me, I think the community is my testimony, and I want to encourage each one of us. Each one of us has something something unique that we can share with someone else.
Yes.
So, first of all, search within yourself. What is this unique thing that you can share with someone else? And then also, can you also step out and share that thing with the person who needs that thing? And even as you do that, you will see that you're blessing others and you're also blessed. Like now, you know, the testimony that has just ended was a very powerful testimony. And I'm sure the men did not know that they were a living example. So each one of us, we have something. Please look within yourself, find that thing, and then share with the others. I don't want to mention the people. Wako hapa wanajijua. Yes, and you know, some of us, maybe we are introverts, we don't talk much, but I think we don't have to always connect, you know, in a setting where there are many people. Even one-on-one, you'll always connect. And for everyone who has blessed me in this church, I also pray for you. May the Lord bless you. May you bless others also. And for the others also, may you bless me and I will also bless you. Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you, Jane. Yeah, Jane is a veteran. Happy birthday, Jane. Yeah, how could I forget that? Yes, and so what Jane is saying, that's what we are all here about. And it says in Acts chapter 4 and verse Acts chapter 2 verse 42, all who believed were united and they had everything in common. That's a community. We had everything in common. It goes ahead and says, and every day they regularly assembled in the temple with united purpose, and in their homes they broke bread. They partook of their food with gladness and simplicity of heart, just fellowshipping together in an authentic way, simplified way, and enjoying each other. I'm so blessed that, you know, David and Eric, you know, you may not speak, you don't have to speak, you just influence quietly. It's still influencing others, and we are influencing each other in those many, many, many ways.